Welcome to Unfiltered Beertales. I am your host, Quentin, but you can call me Q, and welcome to episode 2. This episode today, we're going to talk about more of those crazy thoughts that you may have, especially when it comes to animals. But first things first, let's grab our favorite beverage as always. I'm not drinking alcohol today. I'm just, going with beautiful, delicious Poland spring water. So let's crack that open and get on with the show. Oh yeah, good quality H2O. First things first. You know how male deer that they lose their antlers at one point in time during their life, yearly they lose it. I can't remember what time it is and when it actually does happen. I just know that they do lose their antlers, okay? And they grow in new horns each year and everything. But my biggest question is what did the first buck, the male deer, think when he lost his antlers? I mean, seriously, think about it. You're just treading through the woods. You have a big, beautiful, majestic rack. You're the first buck to ever be on this beautiful planet, just grazing through, being like, oh yeah, look at me and look at my big rack. And then all of a sudden you're just walking and then they fall off, hit the ground. Are you instantly questioning your identity of oh, good God, am I now a female? Or are they going to come back? What does my life even mean? That's the thing. It's when we're kids that we lose our teeth and our new ones come in. Same concept with the deers, but deers. Yeah, plural for deers is deers. No, deer. But did they know? Is it just natural for them? Or is it just something where they have learned just over the, Darwinism of the simple factor? But it had to be in a confusing time. It's just, just strutting your stuff, big, beautiful rack, and then all of a sudden I know it doesn't just fall off. It's baby teeth. They don't just pop out really on their own. You got to work at it to get it off. And, they're rubbing their heads up against the trees and shit. But still, did the first male deer question itself after he lost his first rack? Or what's the situation with that? And I am turning the ringer off on my phone. So, very, very serious. Honestly, what was the thought process? Very confused, and then when he grew his antlers back, was he all excited and being like, oh, I don't know if it's going to look as good, or is it going to look better, or what's going on, Maybe he wasn't even thinking about that. Maybe he was just trying to think about surviving and trying to find a mate and reproduce. Or he could be thinking that when he did lose his rack, that his manhood's gone. Because that ties into with the deer. Is that, ooh, big, beautiful rack, big, burly buck, it's what the does look for in a mate, big, strong, dependable, can protect and provide. Who knows? Now, transitioning over to bugs. Your typical, the house flies, whatever, mosquitoes, anything else like that. Especially when you're driving. Okay? How all of a sudden you're just putting along and then there's a bug across your windshield. Now, the thing is, how we have close encounters to death or we think about stuff, do bugs think and have feelings like us? When you twist your ankle, you feel it. Does that happen with bugs as well? I know as a kid, I used to pull the wings off of houseflies and I had fun with it, just seeing them squirm and everything. But hey, now before you judge, it's not torture. I was just a kid. I had no idea what was going on. And plus it was a housefly. Seriously? Okay. But anyway, imagine you're the bug. You just happen to be, just flying along, minding your own business. And all of a sudden, bam. You're up against this big, invisible force field kind of thing, and you can't move. That's if you survive the impact. Then all of a sudden, you're confused, and you're like, well, I can't move. I broke my leg. Do they have those thoughts? Oh, I can't move. My wing's broken. Or, it's oh, I'm in severe agony and pain. I don't know what to do. Then all of a sudden, they're getting splashed in the face with this chemical liquid, your windshield cleaner stuff. Now, do they feel that? And can they smell it? Taste it or whatever? Does it kill them? Does it hurt them? Is it the equivalent of carbon monoxide coming out of a vehicle to us? Is it same concept? And then after getting splashed in the face with this shit, then all of a sudden these giant big black long looking arm things that could only be the possibility of some big scary creature in comparison to them, thinking again in their thought process, is now coming and is just going to smush them and kill them. Now, do they think what's going on and feel what's going on? Or is it just natural? Or do they just, there's nothing there? Seriously. Honestly, like, Close Encounter of the Death, we feel it. We think about it. We even create the feelings of what could happen associated to it, especially like those weird dreams that you have when you're falling in your sleep. And then you wake up and your body's just like bouncing on the bed and you're like, oh, shit, okay. Well, I didn't really fall. It was just a dream, but yet your heart's racing and everything. And you felt like you felt it, but you didn't feel it because it was just a dream. Now, speaking of flying, the flying squirrels or gliding squirrels, however you really want to look at it, how did the first one of its species, knew that it could fly or glide, however you want to put it? Like, was it just like one of those like daredevil squirrels that like just jumped off of a tree to try to get away from something, and then like as it was falling, its arms and legs were out, and then all of a sudden it like wasn't just immediate impeding into the earth and dying, and they just started to glide, and they're like, oh, holy shit, check me out, and they just kept doing it over and over again until they figured it out? Or was it more like a trial run where it was like, I should be able to fly like all these other animals out here in the forest. I can figure it out. I'll just climb the tree and start jumping off and trying to learn how to do it. And then was that how it became to be? Or was it just a simple factor of jumping off of a tree or a building or something and just being like, well, here I go. I'm going to die trying to get away from something to live. But yeah, I'm going to die. And then all of a sudden they're just gliding, flying, however you want to put it. Like, what went into that thought process, if there was any thought processes? Now, continuing on the topic of flying creatures, birds. Now, do they hold grudges against people? Now, what I mean by this is, like, you know how most of the times, like, you see in movies or even actually in real life that birds, you know, they do poop on cars and everything. Is it the simple concept of they're holding grudges against people who have wronged them and they know it and their brain is processing it and they're like, okay, fucker, you mess with me, I'm going to poop all over your car? Or is it the factor of like us when we're trying to drive home in comparison to the birds that they're flying home and you got to shit really bad? So are they just trying to hold it in to make it home to be able to do their business? Or is it just a simple factor of just a typical bird just flying and pooping? Now, I would like to think that it's actually a grudge-based system and the potential of them trying to get home before they shit themselves, like in comparison to us. But then again, they are birds. They're stupid for the most part. I mean, for Christ's sakes, they fly into windows thinking that they can go into the house. I can't tell you how many times that I've been sitting in my living room relaxing, you know, eating dinner, whatever, watching TV, just sitting in the living room. Then all of a sudden I just hear a big thud. And I look over and I look out the window and then there's just like a splatter of feathers and saliva and blood across the window. I'm like, are you serious? How stupid can a bird be that they actually try to fly into a window? Then again, they could just be stupid. But then again, do they just have the thought process that we also do and thinking stuff and being like, well, I don't see the window, so it's an opening. Like, you know, in abandoned buildings and stuff where there's like the doors are cracked open and everything and they see those openings, or even like the holes in the trees or whatever, or even into birdhouses. Very good things to consider. But seriously though, do they hold grudges? Are they trying to make it home? Or are they just stupid birds and just poop when they feel like pooping? Now, when it comes to wintertime and hibernation with bears, how do they know to hibernate? Like, seriously. Like, there's a lot of animals and mammals out there that do hibernate for the winter for the simple factor of, well, I don't really know, but my only guess, because I'm not no freaking scientist, but my best guess is like, it's cold. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the wintertime, and I'm not going to be able to get my normal nutrients that I usually do when there's not, you know, the wonderful white fluffy snow on the ground. Like, how? Is it just in the genes, or do they actually think about it and go through the process? And then the other thing is the process. Like, how do they know how much to eat and prepare to be able to hibernate for that long, to survive over the course of the months? And also when winter doesn't really line up right and the weather fluctuates so much, just like the other day, it was nice enough to be outside in jeans and a t-shirt like a week ago, I think it was. And then just the other day got like a foot of snow, and now I almost have 2 feet of snow. And it's like, okay, what's going on with the weather here? I mean, it was like, you know, warm enough to be outside, almost to the point where you could mow the lawn because there wasn't any snow on my lawn. And the grass was turning green. And then we got snow. So, like, does that confuse the bears as well? Does it, like, mess with their, like, internal clock? Or, like, does it mess with their heads being like, oh, it's not that cold out. How about I go, you know what? I think winter's over. Or is it like a time bomb inside of them that's like they've eaten so much that it's like once it's all empty, it's like, yep, I guess it's time for me to wake up and go outside. And then the other thing is if they're hibernating for that long, how do they go to the bathroom? Or do they even go to the bathroom? Do they like eat so much crud and everything and then they like block their bowels up with something so that way they don't actually go? But if that's the case, then how the hell does their bodies just not explode? Or even die for the factor of like all that toxicness inside their bodies? Or does their bodies break down the poop and the pee and puts it into their stomach somehow so that way they can keep going for as long as they can until it's actually springtime? Or maybe they just have a timer in their cave being like, okay, this is typically when winter is, this is when it starts, this is the time frame that I have. Like, are they on a schedule? It's like, okay, well, you know, like by Thanksgiving time for the humans, after that, going to have a big feast and everything from all the trash cans and everything in the dumpsters and roaming around and everything. And that's around the time that the campsites close down and everything for the winter. Go and do its last foraging and everything. And then I'm going to take a nice long nap, you know, like, is that how that goes? And then they have the timer set up so that way, like, when it's, you know, it goes off at a certain time of the year for them. Like how we have alarms to wake up in the morning to go to work or at night, whatever shift you work. I mean, I work the night shift and that's freaking crazy hours, but still, rather work the night shift. There's no people, less people, barely any people. There's only like four guys, including me, and then our foreman on our shift, and it's pretty easy. But anyway, or is that why bears hibernate too? Is just say, fuck it, get away from everybody, everything possible, and just, you know what, I just want to be alone for a long period of time and just not do a damn thing. I still think they have like some sort of calendar timer thing in their cave. That's the only thing that makes the most sense. It has to be. I mean, well, or it could be that they're just animals and it's just natural. No, I don't like that idea. I like the factor that they have a timer, a calendar, and they're on a schedule. That's the only thing that makes sense. And even, it has to be. Nope. We're sticking with that. They have a timer. They have a calendar. They have the date circled. They even get new calendars when they go to the store and everything. So there's got to be a bear store for this, right? For the timers, for them to get batteries for their timers. Or is it solar panel? No, it's got to be battery operated. Why would a bear have solar panels to its cave to attract other people being like, nah, bro, my cave, back off, stay away. My territory. I will eat you. Speaking of eating, bears eat fish. We kind of know that for Hand in Hand, like the movie Brother Bear, that they go to the big salmon run, whatever that event's called, and they eat a bunch of salmon and everything. Now, my question about fish is, why in the hell are they so fucking stupid? Now, hear me out. Think about this as if they have our brain. Like, seriously, okay? They're so stupid that they're just, swimming along, and then all of a sudden, there's something shiny and pretty in the water, and you go to swim up to it, and then they bite onto it, and then it jabs them into the mouth, and then they're trying to fight to get away, lodging it further into their mouth. And it's just like, what the hell is this? This is so much painful. What's going on? I gotta get away. But then they hardly ever do get away, because especially the fishermen would have the proper equipment. Well, most proper equipment, or best of hand of what you can get and what you are using, without snapping a line or losing the hook or anything. But most of the time that they don't get away, and then you pull them out of the water, and then they just have this stupid look on their face, like, oh, what the hell? What's going on? I can't breathe. Okay, this ain't working. I'm just going into the light, going up to fish, Jesus. Oh, and then dead. Okay, that's, more natural, because things go into the water when it's, summertime, spring, and fall. So, I mean, I can defend the fish on that sense of not being stupid, but wintertime, that's where I draw the line. I cannot defend a fish when it comes to wintertime. They are beyond stupid. It's like, okay, you just happen to be out on a daily walk, just minding your own business, just swimming about, whatever, Then all of a sudden, somebody cuts a hole in your roof, drops food through the hole of your roof, and then you're like, oh, I am kind of hungry. I'm going to try that out and see what that's like. Then you grab onto it, and then all of a sudden the fisherman pulls it up out of the hole. And again, same stupid face. Like, oh, damn, what the hell? Now, you mean to tell me that if you were sitting in your living room, okay, watching TV, minding your own business, doing whatever it is that you're doing, then all of a sudden, there's a hole that's cut into the roof of your house, and then slowly lowering down in front of you is a chicken pot pie or whatever food that you desperately crave and really like, whatever. I'm going chicken pot pie because I'm kind of craving chicken pot pie right now. Ooh, that does sound really good. Ooh, the warm, flaky, buttery crust. And, Anyway, point being, if that was to like just slowly lower into your house, into your living room, right where you're sitting, whatever, or doing whatever, you mean to tell me that's not going to throw up any red flags whatsoever? Like, think about it. Like, would you, I mean, I would probably go for it if I was really that hungry. I wouldn't even try to think about being smart. Then again, that's probably what the fish are thinking, is that they're just really hungry. No, they're just stupid. They're just stupid. I would totally, definitely try to figure out a way to get the food without it being some sort of trap. Has to be. Maybe my brain would work that way. It would all depend on the moment and what is going on. Nah, I'd probably die. I would go for the pot pie without any question, without any doubt, and just be like, woo, and then die. Now, speaking of the behavior of other animals, overall, all of them. You know the expression, they're more afraid of you than we are of them? Well, is that actually true? Or do they view us like we are the animals of the world? Like, you know how we look at them as the big scary animals of the world? Are we the big scary animals of the world to them? And like we're in their area? Whatever you want to call it. Because think about it, like, you grew up hearing the saying that they're more afraid of you than you are of them. Which, you know, most cases, yes. When you typically come across some sort of wild animal, they tend to run. Unless they're just straight out pricks. Or, you know, a mother bear. You never get in the way of a mother bear. Or especially moose. Especially the mother moose with its baby. No. Bull moose can just be stubborn and an asshole. Just be like, oh, you're challenging me? Okay, fine. I'll just take you out right here. But still, is that statement actually true? Or is it just to divide the animals and the humans? I think it's to divide the animals and the humans. Now, about the fear factor. Do animals get scared when the weather's bad? Like, you know how, you know, some people are afraid of thunderstorms and the snowstorms and everything else like that. And like, you know, like the hurricanes, the tornadoes, earthquakes and everything. Are animals scared of that too? Or is it just a natural thing? I'd like to think that they're scared as well, being like, you know, they're looking at the local weather news, you know, being like, oh, what's the weather going to be like for the rest of the week? And they're like, oh, hurricane's coming. Oh, shit, we got to prepare. We got to lock things down. We got to get preservatives. We got to get our stockpile up and everything. We got to hunker down, make sure we have enough batteries for our flashlights. Or are they just like, yeah, all right, well, if anybody dies, then I got a free meal and I'll be the alpha male or alpha female of the species at that point. I like to think that they get scared as well and they try to prepare the best that they can. Do animals really do think? Or is it just stupid animals? Because, like, how we view them as animals, do they view us as animals? Like, are we the animals to them and they're the animals to us in the case? Or is it just like, I don't know how to put it. Kind of like a zombie apocalypse kind of a thing. Like, you know, like the zombies, oh, stay away, bad or whatever. Like, do the animals look at us like that? In the sense that we're overtaking the world or something and they're freaking out by it? I don't know. I think they think we're the animals of the world and they have their own society. Based off of, you know, like Dr. Dolittle, especially in the second one when, you know, he meets the beavers, like, as if it's supposed to be some sort of mafia kind of a gang thing. That makes the most sense. There's like animal gangs and everything else like that out there. There has to be. Now, moving our way from wildlife animals to household pets. Again, household pets. Seriously, like, how do people actually train their household pets to use our toilet facilities? Like, seriously. Like, I know you can watch the videos and, like, I know how to train a cat. Say, we're going to go with a cat. Training a cat to use the toilet and flushing it and everything like that. But like, how though? Like, how do you get the brain of a household cat who are basically, as we've all determined, asshole, needy on their own time scientists, because they'll knock shit off the counters, they'll piss and shit in their cat box, and then when they think it's not clean enough, then they'll shit and piss somewhere else. And then when their food bowl is almost empty and they can see the bottom, they're like, oh, I'm starving, I need more food. And that they only want to love up on you when it's convenient for them, but not when you want to have them sit on your lap and pet them. But seriously, like, how do you how does, like, what goes on in the mind of the animal, of the cat, to be like, oh, you know what, I'm not going to use the cat box today, I'm going to try to do the toilet and surprise my owner, and we're going to go from there. But still, how does it get to that point? Like, are they confused by it, or has it just become a secondhand nature to them? Now, it has to be that their brains just, they want to be just like us. Like, you know, kids say like, oh, I want to grow up to be just like my dad or just like my mom. That's how it is. Because your household pets are like your kids. To some people it's not. I don't give a fuck how you view it. If you view it as a pet, you view it as a pet. If you view it as your own kid, your fur baby, by all means, whatever makes you fucking happy. I don't give a fuck. But the stupidness of most animals, especially deer, going back to deer, yeah, I know. When they cross the road, it's almost like every single connection from their brain to the rest of their body just shuts down, and especially that little filter of common sense before it goes anywhere else to the rest of the body just completely explodes inside of them, and they have no idea what to do or where to go or what the hell's even going on. Because you'll be driving down along a field, okay, you'll see deer out in the field or whatever, then they'll start to run away because they're scared of the vehicle, or supposedly they're scared of the vehicle, who really knows? Or they're trying to hide something. I think they're trying to hide something. But anyway, they're running away, but then all of a sudden they'll start running towards the edge of the field, by the edge of the road where you're traveling along, and you're like, oh my god, do not cross the road. Do not try and cross the road. Then what do? They immediately, going straight parallel with the road as you're driving, all of a sudden turn 90 degrees right in front of you and boom, hit you right in the nose of your car. Then you're making that phone call. Oh, I got into an accident. Insurance rates goes up. You got to get a tow truck if it's that bad. You got to call game warden and the police and get everybody involved. It's a big fucking hassle. Or the simple factor of when you're just driving down the road, especially when it's dark or foggy out, and then you come across deer that's just standing in the road, and then they see the headlights and they look at you like, what? I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I can't move my legs. Fred, can you move your legs? No, Bob, I can't move my legs. Fred, what do we do? Oh, I don't know, Bob. I think we're just going to stand here. They're making weird noises. Well, how about we try to move? I can't. Can you? No. Though they're coming closer. Oh, my legs are working now. Oh, mine too are. And then they ran. They either run at you or they try to run away, and then they end up like slipping on the asphalt and then clipping your car. I mean, what? And seriously, just even thinking about this has me going on a, like, what happens in their brain to make them just be like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I can't even poop. I'm so scared that I'm gonna shit myself, but I can't even shit. What do I do? And going back to cats, this has always been a big question of mine. Like, seriously. Like, I know there's been debates about it and everything else like that you'll see across the internet and social media and everything. But I mean, on a serious level, dead ass serious level, do we have cats trained, or do cats have us trained? Let that sink in. Do we have cats trained, or do cats have us trained? Us trained, or are they trained? Now, my questioning behind this is, we take household cats and teach them to use a litter box. Potty training, right? Okay. But the pros to that, okay, they don't pee and poop everywhere. And most of the time you won't find it until it's hard up and dry, and then you're like moving the furniture to either rearrange it because your mother wants you to do it 500 times for her because she's like, oh, we're going to put it there, then there, then there, then there. Actually, you know what? I like it a lot better over there. No, you know what? Let's just put it back to how it was, and you just wasted all day moving furniture, but then that's when you would actually find that shit and piss. But then the cons of the cat box is who has to clean it? Especially if you don't have even if you have the self-cleaning cat boxes, there's still the little tray things in the bottom of it and the little baggie that's like, oh yeah, it's all done, time to empty it out. You still got to remove the bag and take care of the bag and dispose it. The cat doesn't do it. It's not like a toilet system. It's like, oh, they go and then poof, it's magically gone. And then some mysterious way it disappears in, once, twice a year, maybe 3, depending on your septic tank. That some magic being comes and takes it away. It's the poop fairy. Poop fairy comes and takes it away. There ain't no poop fairy for the cats. We're the poop fairies. So that's my questioning on the serious note is, do we have them trained? Or is it the factor that they have us trained being like, oh yeah, I'm going to shit and piss all throughout this box. I'm going to cover up my feces and piss and make a mess of the cat litter everywhere, which then us humans are going to have to pick it up around the cat box because it makes a mess, and then they start treading it through the house, and then it's just disgusting everywhere. And it's just, don't get me wrong, I do love cats. Wouldn't get rid of my cats that I have, but I'm just saying, they have us trained. They have to, because they like, seriously, most cats, correct me if I'm wrong, but they will only allow petting when it's convenient for them. They'll only want to snuggle with you when it's convenient for them. Okay? Now, when they get hungry, they'll come and try to be like all lovey-dovey and meow, or sit by the food bowl and meow and everything, especially when they know when it's their feeding time. If your cats are on a feeding schedule, or if you just have the automatic food system for them and they just eat at their own leisure. But still, notice the behavior of a cat. Like, if you have a cat, I want you to just sit down and just watch your cat. Like, especially when they're out moving around and not taking their lazy ass 5,000 naps that they have a day, and then happen to be the middle of the night when everybody's in bed, or even during the day. Like, I'm a night shift worker, so like I sleep during the day and I'm up at night, that they'll just be running rampant. It's always odd hours, and it's almost like they plan it just to fuck with us. It has to be. But still, take a moment. Watch your cat if you have a cat, and just watch the behavior of it. Notice how, like, when you see the cat, you go try to call over, like, the whole, like, kitty, 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 but still, they won't come to you unless they really want to, and then they'll let you pet you even for a moment. Or even when you try to pick them up and hold them to pet them, they're like, okay, yeah, this is nice, and they'll be like, okay, I'm done, and then they try clawing you to get down. But seriously, just watch the behavior. Take notes if you have to, and report them, and report them to me. Like, tell me what you find out interesting about what your cat actually does for the behavior. I mean, if you get bored enough or whatever, it's really interesting. And, I have done it. Yes, I have. And I'll tell you what, my cat's pretty fucked up. I mean, like, just happen to be just strolling through the house, just minding her own business, and then being like, oh, hi. Hello, my human. Oh, you want me to come over there so you can pet me? Let me think about it. Maybe I'm in the mood for petting. So I'm going to start walking to him and then be like, oh, what's that over there? Oh, there's nothing, but I'm going to go look out the window. And then she'll bolt and climb onto the cat tower and then look out the window, and then she'll take a nap. It's like, seriously? And then she'll wake up from the nap and then do the same thing, but backwards, being like, oh, hi, human. Yeah, maybe I want some attention. And then be like, no, I'm just going to go out here and play with the other cats. It's like, what the hell? Let me love you. But seriously, I think cats are the mastermind of the household. Like, seriously. Because if you don't feed them, and you end up dying in your house or whatever, I mean, your animals at some point will start to eat you. I mean, it's known. Because they'll get desperate enough and they'll just be like, you don't look like my human anymore. You look like a good sandwich. Or, tuna fish, whatever, whatever your cat's favorite thing is. They might start looking at you like that. Like, in the cartoons when they would get really hungry and they'd imagine their friend or whoever they're talking with or hanging out with at the point that's like all of a sudden your friend now looks like a turkey drumstick and you're like, oh, okay, yeah. And then they go to try to eat them. I'm telling you, cats own the house. If you have a cat, your cat owns the house. Even if it's a skittish cat, the cat still owns the house, hands down, regardless. I don't care what anybody says. Some weird topics today, huh? Crazy things about animals. If you happen to have a weird pet, or you even have any crazy thoughts along the lines of what I discussed today, feel free. Go over to my Twitter, message me, tweet at me. Go to Dungeon Gaming on Twitter and tell me what you think. Do you have any crazy thoughts? Of any kind at all. It doesn't have to be animal related. I mean, just overall. But especially though, with the cats, I can't let that go. They have us trained. They have to. Well, anyway, this has been Unfiltered Beertales. I'm your host, Q. If you liked it, make sure to like it. If you want to subscribe, go for it. Stay in tuned. More episodes will be coming out, and episodes will be uploaded on every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a good day.